So everybody remembers back during the 2020 election, along with the Hunter Biden laptop, the other big scoop of Biden family information was Ashley Biden's diary, ostensibly accidentally left behind at a rehab facility that she did a stint at. Well, Ashley Biden's diary, you'll likely recall, talks about her suffering sexual trauma and alludes to her taking inappropriate showers with her father as a young girl. That's Joe Biden, the fake president. But just like Hunter's laptop, the whole thing was suppressed aggressively by the press to ensure that Joe Biden took over the White House. Snopes claimed that it was not verified that the diary was Ashley's. The rest of the press just ran with that narrative. So the same people who milked the Russia hoax for 4 years now suddenly say that an obviously real diary can't be proven to be Ashley Biden's. Except now it's 100% proven. And the world might have known that if Conservatism Inc. itself hadn't worked with the liberal propaganda apparatus to hide the truth. Patrick Howley published the Ashley Biden diary for National File. He joins us now for a retrospective on how the rest of the conservative world sabotaged his scoop. So who was it, Patrick, that was lying and covered all this up?
Well, James O'Keefe lied, and I know that's going to cause me to get a lot of angry emails. And by the way, I've known James for over 10 years, and I do think he's done some great work, and he's been a friend of mine. However, he did lie. He went on Hannity and lied and said that Project Veritas couldn't authenticate this diary. You have to understand, from the beginning, first of all, I was the one who broke this. Project Veritas did not. Project Veritas was in charge, on behalf of the Zionist conservative movement, of covering up this story. Benjamin Netanyahu did not want Trump to get reelected. So you have to understand, yes, somebody like O'Keefe has done some good things, gets a massive amount of astroturfed popularity through Project Veritas, which is a Zionist organization, so that he can go on Hannity and, say what they tell him to say at certain points in time. My life has been destroyed. I'm not complaining, but certainly I was the target of the Zionist, aka conservative movement, ever since I broke this story. There's an idea out there in the media that somehow the story was ignored when I first broke it, and that's simply not true. I got this story into millions of readers in the last days of that election. Alex Jones and I together did an emergency broadcast to America in order to tell people about the abuse that was described in Ashley Biden's diary. I have always said this diary is real. This diary is the voice of Ashley Biden, a survivor of severe trauma. Okay. It was not stolen, and Ashley Biden herself confirmed it. Now, again, reluctantly, Project Veritas even has to admit that this tape existed of Ashley Biden confirming it, which proves that James O'Keefe lied on Hannity, and Matthew Rat Tiermond, who is the real power of Project Veritas, who is the person who forced James O'Keefe out, he's an evil guy. He's a bad guy, doesn't like me, was photographed with Mike Pence shortly after the election steal. We know all about Matt Tiermond, a very big Zionist and operator, right? And so conservative media was weaponized against me. When the FBI raid happened on Veritas, I was suspended from Twitter around the same time. People had no idea what was happening to me. But Brian Cates, the guy who for years, the former Never Trumper, linked up with the Reagan Battalion, who grifted for years on John Durham's going to save the day. John Durham's going to save the day. And then, of course, John Durham didn't save the day, right? He was actually responsible for pushing the idea and stoking in people's heads all of these theories about me being some kind of bad actor or black hat or for the bad guys, simply because I did the journalism. As always, I was the one who broke this story. I deserve a Pulitzer Prize. Hopefully Maggie Haberman will do the right thing and give hers back. But conservative media is the mob. It's the Zionist mob. They have come after me in brutal, vicious ways. And I know it's tough for a lot of people to realize that these people who get a lot of idol worship in the conservative movement are actually operatives of the Zionist foreign lobby.
Yeah. And that's why they get this manufactured influence, right? I mean, these are the people that get the most promoted on Twitter. Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk. We've got this Vigilant Fox that I think is supposedly replacing me on Twitter. As I go down, they go up. We had somebody from Veritas on here not too long ago, Patrick, and I said, so when are you going to talk about the diary? Why did you cover it up? Who was responsible for covering it up? And then bang, suddenly, all of a sudden, they're forced to address it. Maybe some outside pressure as a result of this network, but also you're now being nominated for an American Liberty Award. I would encourage everybody, I voted for you, by the way, and I would encourage everybody to get over there and vote for Patrick Howley, because this is what real journalism looks like. So what was James O'Keefe's benefit, or what was the motivation for him to lie? And I agree. I think that you're going to get a lot of blowback on this, because people do, practice the spirit of idolatry when it comes to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the big fraud I was right about at AFPAC, Donald Trump, despite the glaring mistakes that he's made with personnel and pushing the bioweapon on everybody, and now this. What was his motivation? Why did he lie?
Well, Stu, I'm the real fighter for President Donald Trump. You know, I started for Tucker a long time ago. I was on Bannon's team at Breitbart in 2016. In 2020, I broke such stories as the Cal Cunningham affair, which helped the Republicans save a Senate seat. Around the same time, I was busting election fraud. I was the only one who was able to link the Biden campaign to actual documented voter fraud, which could have saved that election. The Republicans didn't want to hear about it. And then this Ashley Biden thing happens. James O'Keefe's motivation for lying, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Again, longtime friend of mine. Don't think I'm going to talk to him again after all this. But his motivation for lying is because when you take the money, his Acorn thing was great. Don't get me wrong. But when you take the money from the bad guys, then they build you up. They AstroTurf you. Do I get AstroTurf? No, I get banned. I get blacklisted. I get anytime I pop up in the conservative media. I mean, some of these people who just do retweets are praised as patriot heroes. Anytime I pop up, I'm like super scrutinized and they're like, this scurrilous scumbag Howley again. What's his motive? My motive is I'm legit. I'm actually legit. And so that's what happens. And these people say what they're supposed to say. Did you know that Agent Poso, Jack Posobiec, who comes from military intelligence, suddenly emerges as a huge influencer in 2017? Oh, what about that picture of him in May 2017 with Ali Akbar, aka Ali Alexander, who's now being scrutinized for allegedly soliciting photos from an underage person? Oh, wait, June 2017. Agent Poso tries to cover up the fact that the location on one of his tweets is George Bush CIA headquarters. He tried to delete that. I have it archived. The internet is forever is the expression. And I know all about these people. Dan Bongino, okay? Remember the TikTok thing? Oh, any day now. Dan Bongino, Tracy Beans, and Brian Cates were the ones who went to the Epic Times and tried to shake them down and threaten them in order to try to cancel me at the Epic Times. I was reporting on Child Protective Services at the time, but I was also criticizing the whole TikTok grift. What did Sean Hannity do? Oh, Mr. Hero Sean Hannity, accused of wearing the CIA lapel pin on his lapel.
Yeah.
Sean Hannity actually, according to emails that I published on National File, his text messages, he was begging Mark Meadows, the White House chief of staff under Trump, get Trump to just, quit, go to Florida, don't be the president anymore. Fox News, through Sean Hannity, was actively trying to get Joe Biden into the White House. How can you possibly watch the Sean Hannity show and look at that neocon shill and see him as anything other than a communist operette chick? That's what he is, a communist operette chick.
Yeah, I agree. We've outed Hannity many times. Was there any communication between you or National File and Project Veritas leading up to you bravely and courageously and with integrity publishing the diary that you knew to be 100% authentic?
Stu, I followed the law in all matters, and I want to be as transparent as possible. I know my very hardworking legal team, who are also who want to see me do well, be a truth teller and a journalist, are watching this on bated breath. Because when you go up against something like Veritas, obviously they scrutinize every single thing you say. I followed the law completely. I followed the First Amendment. The diary was not stolen. Okay. Ashley Biden confirmed it. It's all there. Joe Biden needs to be held accountable. Instead of doing all these stupid process pieces in the New York Times and everything else about, oh, how did they get it and this, that, how about you look at what it actually says? Because the Democrat media is trying to suppress the voice of a survivor of trauma. And you know what? The conservative media was in on it too. And I'm going to expose every single last one of them. You can read all about it at National File. By the way, we're still the exclusive host of the Ashley Biden diary. I lawfully figured out how to do that. It's still up. I'm still fighting. I'm not going anywhere. They put a crown of thorns on Jesus's head, right? They mocked him. Okay. They nailed him to a cross. I don't care what if I have the public on my side one way or another. This is about truth, and I'm going to win.
Patrick Howley, amazing work. Thank you so much for being here. Go to nationalfile.com. Check out the diary. We've published it as well. We've covered the story. We appreciate your bravery, and I will see you at the American Liberty Awards on the 12th. Thank you.
I'll see you, Stu.
Yeah. Thanks again. Patrick Howley is a real one. And don't wait on your fake, courageous House majority GOP to launch some congressional inquiry or some procedural impeachment against Joe Biden that the Senate will never move to convict or remove Joe Biden. There's no statute of limitations on child molestation. The U.S. Marshals should be marching into the White House or whatever fake set Joe Biden is allegedly on, putting him in handcuffs and perp walking him for everybody to see. And then he should face extreme accountability. At some point, we've all been sold a big lie, including yours truly. It's called the protein lie. Starting in the 1980s, supplement companies began pushing massive protein consumption. We all believed that more protein equaled more muscle growth. I'm here to tell you that's a big fat lie. No surprise. Let's say that you eat an 8-ounce chicken breast. You're consuming about 40 grams of protein. However, just because something contains 40 grams of protein doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to absorb all 40 grams. No, without enzymes, most of it ends up in your toilet bowl. So if you don't have a sufficient supply of enzymes to digest the protein, your muscles will be starving for those vital building blocks. That's why it's crucial that you take a high-quality enzyme. The one that I trust and use myself is called Masszymes by Bioptimizers. Masszymes is a full-spectrum enzyme formula with more proteins than any other commercially available, with 5 different kinds of proteins. And you can try it today, risk-free. Their 365-day full money-back guarantee is the gold standard in the industry. When you go to bioptimizers.com/Stu, be sure to enter the coupon code StuPeters10 to get an extra 10% off of your order at bioptimizers.com/Stu. Everybody now knows that we live in an upside-down clown world under an empire of lies, a murderous regime. So previously it may have sounded crazy, but I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that liberals are very upset that people like me are advertising the Vanish holster. They cannot stand how this holster has helped get more Americans armed than ever before. What's so special about this Vanish holster, you might ask? Well, simple. It is the most comfortable holster ever. The most comfortable holster I've ever worn. I have plenty of experience, 15 years in bounty hunting. Lots of experience with holsters and firearms. And when you get a Vanish holster, you'll never stop carrying because you'll forget you're even wearing it. Plus, the Vanish holster saves you money. That's because it fits 99% of all semi-auto handguns. It works without a tactical belt. It lets you carry in multiple positions. It carries 2 fully loaded magazines. And best of all, because you're a viewer of this program, you get it for $50 off. I am told that this discount is set to expire soon, so kick in your special pricing, lock it in right now. Go to vanish.com/Stu. That's vnsh.com/Stu. vnsh.com/Stu. It's all back for the money back guarantee, and I believe them when they say it's the only holster that you'll ever need because it's the last one that you'll ever buy. Vanish.com/Stu right now, today, before this discount expires. You have a child, and that child has a diagnosis of ADHD. You've gone to the doctor, and they are suggesting neurotoxins like Adderall and Ritalin and methylphenidate and clonidine because they are whores for big pharma and because they are poison pushers and fake doctors. Please try something else before you destroy your kid's life potentially with all of the documented irreversible long-term side effects associated with all of the aforementioned. Please try CBD, and please use the family-owned business that we do business with here. All the hemp is grown right here in my home state of Minnesota. Everything can be sourced. You're not going to get any poisons or toxic crap in your CBD like you will if you go to the corner store, which sells all of this BS from China. Go to curable.com. That's Kuribl, curable.com. Family-owned business, all the hemp sourced right here in my home state of Minnesota. So many other benefits to Curable, which you can find on their website. Plus, if you like THC products, they have them as well. Go to curable.com. Use promo code STU for 20% off site-wide when you go to curable.com.